If you're shooting low and left at the range and you want to solve it and just don't understand why it's happening, this is the perfect video for you. Most people look at this and think it's trigger control. It's not. It's your grip. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you why the grip is causing you to shoot low and left. Once you understand what's causing it, you can solve it and stop shooting low and left forever. Hi guys, I'm John, the firearms instructor, and I've taught thousands of students to stop shooting low and left by just simply understanding what's causing it. Majority of people already know how to press a trigger. They already know how to line their sights up, but they just don't understand how much pressure we need to put on the weapon to keep from having muzzle flip. And muzzle flip is causing our sight alignment and sight picture to be off during recoil. And during recoil is what's causing majority of the low left and anticipation stuff, because we're just not controlling the weapon. So we're going to give you a few tips here today to help you understand what's causing it, how to improve, and stop shooting low and left forever. Real concept we have to get along with is that our dominant hand and our non-dominant hand are the only thing touching the firearm. And that's how we're going to control the weapon. So I pulled a dummy gun today to point at the camera. There's no rounds in it. It's not live or anything else like that, so I can actually point this at the camera. And what I did was put a black line down the center of the handgun or this receiver here, just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening and why the weapon is showing off to the left a little bit. So when we put a gun in our hand, we need to make sure that it's in the center of our arm. And here becomes one of the problems most people do, and it has a lot to do with how they put the gun in their hand. They're using their wrist up and down and right and left to get us the weapon to be leveled. So if I were to put the pistol in my hand and I've got it off just a little bit like this, can you see that line right here? Do you see how it's pulled off to the left of the target? This is one of those things that I'm guilty of. I need to make sure I'm always got the weapon down my arm as best I can. And if you're down your arm, you're going to be over the pistol. I kind of told you many times before, we need to get a good foundation, which comes from grip, it comes from stance, it comes from trigger control. But today it's all about what's causing low and left, and it's most likely your grip that's causing, because we've already stationed the gun in a left quadrant. Basically, we're letting the gun go left. What I've done is I grabbed a marker. I'm going to put the firearm in my hand. I'm going to mark my line right here, and I need to make sure that the line is matching up my hand line. Can you see that right there? Maybe I do like this, you'll be able to see it. And what tends to happen is when we start out and we've got our hand in this position, look where that line is compared to that line. That's going to cause it to be off the left. And to get that to line up properly, we almost have to spin the gun and bend our wrist to get there. And this is our challenge, really, is to line up the weapon to come down the arm the best we can. And if we do that properly, then we're over the pistol. So let's just show you if you stood feet shoulder width apart, bouncing on your knees just a little bit, and put the gun directly over your nose. Now, what causes a little bit of an issue, you can see my line right here, and the weapon is here. Now, to put that in a line that would work for us, there's where it is. Now, once I've lined that up the best I can, then I'm going to turn my chin to get me over the pistol. That's going to line me up directly over the pistol. The issue is, if you're standing with a gun over your dominant eye and you got your knuckle over the pistol, then you're already shooting to left to begin with. So we want to line the weapon up in down our arm as best we can. You don't need to put black marker on your gun. You don't need to put black marker on your hand, but I just want you to see it. Because the more I can get you to understand it, I have to be down the pistol for it to be level. So what happens is, now that I've got the gun level and I've put my head over my weapon, I've got my line down my arm, and I push it out in front of me. Well, there I am over the pistol, and I have it directly over my line of sight. And then I slowly press the trigger. It's gonna impact where I want it to impact, and not impact low and left. Okay, John, well, why is it going low? Well, low is us not having good sequence between two hands, right? Our right hand and our left hand are on the pistol. A lot of students who are right-handed over torque with their right hand or over torque with their left hand. And we've got to get you to understand the positive power that we need to have on the weapon. So, dominant hand is 40% of our grip. Non-dominant hand is the rest, 60%. So we have it here, here. Get that thumb over thumb, take your wrist, lock it out, push the weapon out in front of you, get your weapon and line in your hand lined up together, and now you are got a level pistol in control. Majority of low and left is a pistol out of control. And the best thing we can do is get a good drive on the pistol, and the drive happens by using our pec muscles. When we close our hands together and use our pecs to close up on the weapon, it's going to keep that weapon level and stop that low and left impact. So what we want to do mostly is make sure we're in total control of the pistol, and that does start with a good solid foundation of grip. We talk about being high on the tang. This is up here. We don't want to give it any gappiness. We want to be high up here. We want to be in our right in the middle of our hand. We want to make sure our fingers off that trigger. We want to bring our hand up, rotate our hand to lock out our wrist, get those thumbs pointed towards the target, or indexing towards the target, push the weapon up over our dominant eye, bring it here, and slowly press the trigger. When we drive the weapon with our chest muscles by pecking in just a little bit, we're going to control the pistol a lot better when we do that over having some kind of weird thumb crush thing. You ever seen this one? You hold it here. You could have good grip here, but if I'm taking this hand and doing this with it, I'm pushing this thumb towards the gun itself, and I'm going to cause a lot of that weapon to go off the left as well. Grip is one of those things where it's almost, when we bring our chest together and put our hands together, guys, we're closing our pecs and we're putting 360-degree grip around the firearm. if we're tucking a thumb or doing any kind of weird grip, or down here, or a thumb is down here, those are all weird grips that's going to cause the gun to go down. I can't not say that trigger causes a little bit of the downness, but what we need to think about mostly is if we got a good solid grip and a good foundation, and we keep the weapon level and we press through the trigger to the back of our hand, more education on trigger travel, and you'll feel more comfortable when the gun rises and falls. I think one of the most challenging things for students is when they've got it all up there. They don't have their lock, they don't have their thumb, they got their thumbs together, but they don't have them out here, they have them here. And that gives us ability to move our wrist. And then when we cut the shot, we're dropping the rounds as well. So we need to be very careful that we lock our wrist out best we can. That way it won't go anywhere when we're pressing the trigger, or very little movement. What causes inaccuracy, guys, is us doing everything right, but allowing our front post to bobble during the shot. And low and left is a very common thing of people doing it because they're not lining everything up perfectly. Just remember, high and tight will make it right. If you're high and tight, you're gonna get the gun out perfectly and it's gonna be right every time. When you have it low or you're not in control, that's what causes the accuracy issues that people are having. Low and left is probably one of the most common things students do, and they all think it's because their sights are off. It's not their sights, it's normally their grip, because they're not in control of the weapon. Remember, when you have an uneven grip, when the muzzle or the bullet fires, the weapon is offline, it's not staying level, and you're getting a lot of muzzle drop and a lot of muzzle rise, and that recoil management becomes a real challenge for you because you're not getting a solid foundation of the grip on the pistol. So working on a few things like we talked about will give you a definite control, and the control will make you more accurate. But what I'm going to recommend for you is to get out there and dry fire a little bit. If you need to, you could take white paper, white something. You could take a something, piece of tape of anything, and make sure you're over the pistol, and then make sure your hand's over the pistol. Make sure you're lined up the best you can. And when you're doing that, once you've got your drive and your thumbs are out and you're really just slowly pressing the trigger, what you're looking for is, did my sights stay stable or did they bobble? And when you get that trigger back properly and they stay stable, you actually feel a good trigger press. You have an aha moment, and that's what we're looking to repeat to be accurate. Guys, we do not need to get them all on top of each other. We don't need to cloverleaf. We're defensive shooters. We just need to make sure that we're confident enough when I cut the shot, they're gonna go where I want them, not low and left. But the problem with low and left, if you do it for long enough, what are you gonna do? You're gonna shoot high and right to get it to low and left. That's not what we wanna do in a defensive situation, because the moment you do that or count on that, that's the first time you don't do it, and there goes that bullet off into space. Remember, you're responsible for your bullet until it hits the ground. When it hurts, maims, kills, or paralyzes, you're civilly, criminally, and morally responsible. We've got to solve this low and left, and this is the easiest way I can give you. Get a solid grip on the pistol, and low and left will start to subside, and you won't have the issue. Now, does low and left creep up once in a while? Yes, I'm guilty of that. Yes, it happens all the time, but go back to the fundamentals, go back to the basics, and it will help you tremendously. Keep the weapon level. It will always shoot level. A couple things people do with grip that becomes a little bit of a problem. We're trying to squeeze with our fingers instead of driving with our chest muscles. If you really think about it, guys, I'm trying to push the firearm into my hands. And the only way to get leverage doing that is by using my chest muscles. So this is what we're going to do with the firearm as well. I'm going to line it up. And then when I drive it out, I'm closing my hands and clamshelling through it. That'll keep me closed in the hands. It's almost like, guys, squeezing an orange. We don't want to be squeezing an orange. We want to press an orange with our hands. If you press the orange, you're still going to get the juice out of it, but you're not going to do like a toothpaste tube. You're going to do it here, like we're squishing an orange. And that's going to help us out tremendously. We want to be very careful we don't over torque with our fingers. We want to grab the weapon with our hands as much as possible. And remember, we don't want to crush the firearm. We want to give a positive balance to the firearm. Maybe a little bit more on your non-dominant hand versus your dominant hand, but we got to feel the grip, not like we're trying to crush it like at the gym or something like that. One of the other things we need to be careful of, that we're not overlapping our thumbs. We want to have our thumbs indexing towards the target, more lined up down the weapon than here. When you do this with a firearm, and this is a common grip for a lot of people, we're causing a lot of space between my thumb here and my hand, and I'm getting a gap that I don't want. I've mentioned it many times before, but a firearm is a bully. And if you give it something, it's going to take it. And if you're blocking your thumb with your hand to try to get good grip, you're actually putting a lot of torque on the firearm in this direction, which in turn we want to push back in this direction, and that causes the left as well. Let's overview real fast here for you, just to make sure you got it all. We want to make sure that we are lined up on the gun as best we can. We don't want to be over our knuckle. We don't want to be over here. We want to be right down the pistol as much as possible. We want to make sure that we're getting a 40% grip here and a 60% grip here. We're going to drive the weapon out, and you notice I cut my thumb towards the target. So when I drive this out like this, I'm going to control the weapon a lot better. I'm going to turn my chin, make sure the weapon's over my dominant eye as much as I can, and then I'm going to work on a slow, continuous press until the weapon fires. Shooting low and left is very common. That's so common that we put an ebook together for you, which is in the descriptions down below. Go ahead and pick up this ebook. It explains it, what's causing it, and how to solve it. Those books are only $2.99, and you'd be supporting a family-owned business like mine, and we would appreciate it very much. If you spend enough time watching this video, I've given you enough information to make sure that you can control the weapon. Remember, we need to rotate those thumbs. We need to get a good solid grip. We need to make sure the weapon's over our dominant eye. We need to slowly press the trigger, drive the weapon with our chest muscles. Gentlemen, ladies, you want to drive with your back muscles, and then get that trigger press versus a trigger pull. And low and left like this would be nothing but the past. If you want to work directly with me each week, I actually put together a handgun training system where I give you weekly drills, a PowerPoint presentation, you get a downloadable PDF target. We have a workbook style webinar that you get to download everything, do your homework, re-upload your target, and let me help you identify what you're doing wrong so we can solve it. Now, you get all of that times 4. We give it to you 4 times a month, every Monday night at 5:45, and it's less than $1 a day. Would you invest $1 a day to become the best shooter you could be? Comment down below yes, and I will send you a free entry that you can test out the handgun training system to see if it's something you want to do. All you have to do is be available at 5:45 on Mondays, and if you're not, it is replayable through the system as well. You need to get to the range at least once a week. You need to take the target we give you, do your homework, submit your homework, and turn it in for a review. And if you want to get in that, all you do is tell me yes down below, and I'll send you your free personal invitation from me to visit us every Monday night and see if it's something that I can help you with. My name's John Johnson, and I own and operate a firearms training facility, and I specialize in you. And I appreciate you being here watching this video. YouTube has told us 87% of you do not subscribe to our channel, not because you don't like it, it's just something you don't do anymore. But I don't care, but the powers to be do. And they want, if you don't subscribe, they don't think this video is worth it, and they don't share it to other people. So do me a favor, do me a solid. Go ahead and smash that like button. Make sure you hit that bell icon, that like and the subscribe. And every time we upload a video just like this one, you'll be the next to know. Are you sick of shooting low and left? Let me help you.